Accusations calendar. I'm Judge Melanie Williams. As you just probably got the notifications, this proceeding is being recorded and live streamed over the internet. That means that any member of the public can log on and watch this particular proceeding just as if we were live. I want to advise all defendants on the screen, you have an absolute right to remain silent. Anything you say regarding the facts of your case can and will be used against you. You also have a right to an attorney at this proceeding. This calendar is for those individuals who have been recently arrested, but the cases have already been formally accused and bound over to state court. I see that a breakout has been requested for any position. To the public defenders, have you all had an opportunity to speak with your clients?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Are we ready to proceed? Who do we have first?
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon. Good to see you. Happy Good Friday to everyone.
Happy Good Friday. We have position number one, Mr. Tavoy Brown.
All right. Good afternoon, Mr. Brown. Your case is 22 CR 00225-1Y, in which you're charged with 1 count of battery, family violence, and 1 count of cruelty to children. In the third, with an offense date of April the 14th. Do you understand your constitutional rights?
Yes, I do.
And can I speak to you by video today? Can I conduct this hearing by video?
Sure.
And can your attorney assist you by video?
Sure.
All right, Mr. Howard, I understand that he's recommended for pretrial, but is this first arrest? Is pretrial on the screen? If not, in the interest of time until he is, we'll go ahead and go to Ms. Webb. Good afternoon, good to see you, Ms. Webb. Do you have the history?
Yes, Your Honor. I have recorded just a shoplifting arrest out of Lawrenceville. It looks like the statute may have expired on actual prosecution, but that's the only previous history that I have.
Okay, and the state's recommendation?
Yes, Your Honor. In this particular case, the state is recommending $2,500 surety bonds on each count for the cruelty to children and battery, family violence, a stay away from the incident location at 4785 Weather Vane Drive, Johns Creek. That's Weather Vane, WEATHERVANE Drive, Johns Creek, Georgia. No further contact with wife, Miss Mitsena Brown. That's MITSENA Brown, common spelling. No alcohol, drugs, or weapons, and 1 day anger awareness. Your Honor, this particular incident took place yesterday evening around 10:30 p.m. where the Johns Creek Police Department responded to a domestic dispute call and were met with the defendant's wife, Mrs. Brown. She advised that the defendant was supposed to supervise and care for their 3 minor children while she was away at work, but she received a call from a neighbor earlier during that day that said they saw their 7-year-old and 3-year-old sons wandering around the neighborhood alone. The mother then asked the neighbor to watch over those children until she was able to get to them. And on her way home, she went to the defendant's job to investigate what was going on and why the children were at home alone. The defendant became angry and drove to their residence. And it's there that the actual dispute turned physical. The defendant is alleged to have arrived at that home and began yelling at the 7-year-old, initials TB, and began striking him with a belt. The mother was recording on her phone and told the father to stop. And then he slapped that phone out of her hand and struck her with an open palm to the face. And the two began to wrestle in front of the children, and she did sustain redness and markings on her face and neck. And this was attested to the responding officer by the oldest minor child, who was 14 years old. There was a video produced to that responding officer where you could hear the other 2 minor children in the background screaming, yelling, and crying for their father to stop striking their little brother and to stop wrestling with their mother. Your Honor, albeit that this is the defendant's first offense, we are concerned because of the facts of this case that there are 3 minor children, ages 3, 7, and 14 in the home, and the level of violence that was displayed by the father in this particular case, that there is a risk of reoffending, and we are afraid of witness intimidation. In Your Honor, considering that the 7 and 3-year-old was allegedly found by themselves wandering in the neighborhood, the state is always concerned where children are left unsupervised. Nothing further at this time.
All right. Who represents this defendant?
Wanda Gant, Your Honor.
Always good to see you, Ms. Gant. Before I go to you, Ms. Gant, I am going to sound for the victim, Ms. Metsina Brown. Ms. Brown, if you are on this Zoom conference and would like the opportunity to make a statement, this is your time to do so. You are not required to do so. However, if you would like to do so, though, I would need you to turn on your camera. Is Metsina Brown present on this Zoom conference? I see someone. Are you Messina Brown? I can't hear you. I believe you're still muted.
Yes, I'm here.
Would you like to make a statement?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, before you speak, please raise your right hand. Do you swear and affirm the testimony you give today will be the truth to the best of your knowledge and under the penalty of perjury?
Correct, I swear.
All right, what would you like to tell us today?
I would just like to say that I'm very concerned about my kid's dad mental health at this time, because he's not usually
Your
acting
Honor,
like this.
I would object. The client is not, witness is not competent to testify regarding my client's mental health.
Thank you, Ms.
Yeah.
Gant. What I'll say that Ms. Messina, I'm gonna let you continue, but the things that the court is most concerned about today is your desire for contact with the defendant and whether you have any actual fear of being in contact with him. That's what I am most concerned about.
Well, no, Your Honor, I'm not in fear of in contact with him, because I want him to see his kids and I want him to have somewhere to go, because he doesn't have family here. So what I would like to see happen is for him to not be violent against me or the kids. But at this point, I don't know what will happen. I am just fear that something might happen, that he might flare up again, but I do not want to have him not have somewhere to go. I would like to have him come back home, but for him to get warning and not to behave in this type of manner. Me and my kids are very scared of what he might do to us.
All right, so you are afraid of him to a degree. I understand your concerns, Ms. Messina. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Not at this moment, ma'am.
Thank you, Ms. Brown. I appreciate you making that statement. Ms. Gantz, I'll go to you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Tavoy Brown is 35 years old. He has been in the Atlanta, Georgia area for 6 years. He has family here, including his wife. He has been married for 7 years, and he informs me that he is the proud father of 3 children, ages 2, 7, and 12. We are opposed to the stay away at 4785 Weather Vane Drive. Mr. Brown wants to continue having contact with his wife and with his family. My client completed high school. He is currently employed at Publix as a clerk. He has been in that position for the past 6 years. Your Honor, he denies the allegations, and in light of my client's community ties and lack of any history, particularly for violence, I am requesting a signature bond. And again, we are opposed to the stay away, the no contact orders, and would ask instead for a no violent contact order. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Anything further from the parties before I rule?
Your Honor, just going off of what Ms. Brown did just recently testify, the state is of course going to reiterate that stay away order and no further contact. It does appear that she was beginning to express mental health concerns with her husband, which she would have knowledge of considering the length of the parties' relationship. In addition to, Your Honor, if that is indeed the case, that might be a reason for the violence. And she has expressed to some extent that her and her children are afraid, albeit she is concerned about his shelter. Perhaps there is an option for him to meet with the social worker to be able to find some resources for housing.
All right, thank you.
And
All
also the kid's age is incorrect. So the daughter is also she's going to be 14.
Thank you, Ms. Brown. Thank you. All right. At this time, Mr. Brown is going to receive a $5,000 signature bond through pretrial services, broken down as follows: $2,500 for count 1, $2,500 for count 2. He is to have no further contact with the victim or the children at this time. I do not believe there's been a sufficient cooling off period, and he must stay away from the address at 4785 Weather Vane Drive. He can return one time with a member of law enforcement to get any items that he may have in his, that he may need. He is to have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, and he must complete the 1-day anger awareness course as a condition of his signature bond. Is there any further comments or questions from either party?
Nothing further.
Nothing from the defense, Your Honor.
All right, best of luck to you, Mr. Brown. We can now move to the next position.
Your Honor, we have position number 11, Mr. Mallet. Position number 11. And also,
All right.
we have his mother in the courtroom.
Okay. All right. Good afternoon, Mr. Mallet. Your case is 22 CR 0022544Y, in which you're charged with 1 count of battery family violence. Do you understand your constitutional rights?
Yes.
And can I conduct this hearing by video?
Yes.
And can your attorney represent you by video?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Howard? Are you here now?
Yeah, I'm here.
If-
First
okay.
arrest. What's the victim name in this case?
I'm not sure that I'm aware. We'd have to get that from the state. Ms. Duncan, good to see you. What's the victim's name?
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Happy Good Friday. The victim's name in this case is Brianna Smith, Breana. Last name Smith, common spelling.
All right. I see you got a TPO, but the person on that is Linda Mallet.
Okay.
But that's all. First arrest, if I didn't say that.
Okay. Thank you. Ms. Duncan, we'll go right back to you then.
Your Honor, this event occurred yesterday at about 1:10 a.m. Officers were dispatched to the location of 3390 Stratford Road Northeast. Stratford is STRATFORD Road Northeast. They were dispatched to that location. And injuries were reported. Upon officers' arrival. They were flagged down by the victim, Ms. Smith, in this case. And when they arrived, she stated to the officers that she was physically assaulted when she walked inside of her residence by the defendant. In this case, Your Honor, Ms. Smith at the time had visible blood coming from her mouth and on her jacket. Officers walked into the parking deck and detained Mr. Mallet. He also had blood on his clothing and cuts on his hands. Officers asked the defendant at that time what happened, and he stated to the officers, "Just take me to jail." The defendant was extremely intoxicated at the time of the incident. The victim in this case stated that the defendant has a drinking problem and that he came inside the house in which he has been staying with her in since October 1st and started a verbal argument for no reason that turned physical. The victim in this case, Ms. Smith, and the defendant, she stated that he punched her while chasing her around the house. And there was an independent witness, Miss Princess Davis, who witnessed the incident and gave the same account that the victim in this case gave, Your Honor. Our victim advocate was able to reach out to the victim in this case. She stated that they had been living together for 6 months. They had been out drinking, and all of them with friends had come back to the apartment. The victim stated that she was drunk and she remembers a little bits and pieces, but the witness in this case, Miss Davis, remembers everything. She does remember having a busted lip and bleeding, and she does remember that the defendant hit her. But she says that the witness in this case is the one who remembers every detail, and her account is the same as the victims in this case, Your Honor. Given the facts and circumstances surrounding this incident and the violent nature, even though it is the first offense, we're concerned about the health and safety of this witness and possibility for intimidation since they do currently live together. We're requesting $3,500 surety, no further contact with the victim in this case, a stay away from the incident location, 1-day anger awareness, no alcohol, drugs, and weapons. She also stated, if I may, that she believes that the defendant should get some therapy and some help for his anger and depression. She said that she is not afraid of him, to our victim advocate, but however, she is unsure at this time if she wants him to come back to the house.
All right, thank you. I'm gonna sound for Brianna Smith at this time. Is Brianna Smith present on this Zoom conference and wishes to make a statement? All right, hearing none. Oh, are you here?
Hi, I'm present. Yes.
Would you
Yes.
like to make a statement, Ms. Smith?
At first I didn't, but
Wait, but if you do, you'd have to please raise your right hand.
okay.
Do you swear and affirm the testimony you give today will be the truth to the best of your knowledge and under the penalty of perjury?
Yes, I swear.
Okay, thank you. And you are Brianna Smith, correct?
Yes, I'm Brianna.
Okay, what would you like to say?
I just want to say, everything she said was correct. I don't want Demonte to have any like bad ill or anything. I do want him to get help. I'm not afraid of him. I know he's been going through a lot since his mom put a restraining order out on him. That right there hurt him the most. You know, before his mom put a restraining order on him, he was not like this. He was not as angry. And when that happened, the anger like boiled up, and I was trying to be a friend for him. And I feel like that anger that he had that night was not towards me. It just felt like it was boiled up over these 6 months. You know what I mean? I don't feel like he's a bad person at all. I just feel like he just has a lot of anger built up towards the person who raised him. And that I was the closest thing to him since that happened. And then he's kind of took it out on me. So that's what I mean why I'm not afraid of the fact that like he's not a bad person.
Do you wish to have contact with him at this time?
Yes, I would like to have contact with him. Also, I just feel like I'm not at my house. I'm not gonna come back home for about a week or so. If he wants to stay at the house until he finds somewhere to go, that's perfectly fine. I just won't be there for the remaining of the month or 2 weeks or two to 3 weeks. Because I feel like we do need some time away from each other, but he has nowhere to go. Like I said, he can't go to his mom's house legally because of the restraining order until October. He has nowhere else to go. And it's like, I'm willing to leave my house until he figures out in his next week or two if he can get another place to stay or whatever the case may be. I don't want to seem homeless. I'm not rude. I'm not mean like that. I know he's going through a lot, and I'm very open to see what's going on and get him help. But I just don't want to be at the house. I literally packed up 2 suitcases last night and went to my friend's house with my dog.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Smith. Who represents Mr. Mallet?
J. Kim.
Oh, good to see you, Ms. Kim. Good afternoon.
You.
What is the defense's recommendation?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Mallet is 22 years old, and actually he goes to Gwinnett College. He's studying business administration there, and he has been here in Georgia more than 17 years, ever since he was 5 years old. He has a family here. This is his hometown now, and he works at 2 jobs, Amazon and DoorDash, while he's going to school full-time because he has a dream to be a sports management personnel. He has a passion for basketball and football, and he does need some, even though he works, his financial condition is not really good, and he's recommended for signature on bond. So we would like to request for signature on bond for him. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. At this time, Mr. Mallet's going to receive a $4,500 signature bond through pretrial services. He is to take that 1-day anger awareness course. Because I don't feel that there's been a significant cooling off period, he is to have no further contact with the victim, and he must stay away from that address so long as the victim is not at that address. So long as the victim is at that address, he can return one time with a member of law enforcement to assure that the victim is not there. If the victim is not there, he can reside at that location. If she is there, he can collect his things, and he'll need to stay elsewhere. And he is to have no weapons, drugs, and alcohol as a condition of this bond. Are there any questions from either the state or the defense?
No, Your Honor.
I think rather than state.
All right, best of luck to you, Mr. Smith.
One thing, I have his phone, so how is he going to get in? Like, I have everything. I have his phone, so how will I know?
I can leave the key.
I can leave the key at the front desk, and I just want to know, like,
I'm not in position to coordinate that, and we actually need to keep moving at this time. Ms. Smith, if you would speak to his attorney, yes, if you reach out to his attorney, we would appreciate if you all can. Ms. Kim, maybe you could assist him and her.
Thank you.
Sure.
All right. Best of luck to you both.
Thank you.
All right, who do we have next?
Question number 5, Miss Clifford. Hey, court 1-3.
All right. Good afternoon, Ms. Clifford. Are you Anna Clifford? Ms. Clifford, your case is 22 CR 002252B, and you're charged with DUI with an offense date of April the 14th of 2022. I want to advise you have an absolute right to remain silent. Anything you say regarding the facts of the case can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney at this proceeding. Do you object to a video hearing today?
No.
Can your attorney represent you by video?
I believe so.
All right,
Yes.
thank you. I will make sure you're fine with that. Your attorney is available to, who represents Ms. Clifford?
I do, Your Honor, Wanda Gant.
Okay, Ms. Gann is available to assist you by video. Is that all right with you, Ms. Clifford?
Yes.
All right, thank you. This is her first arrest, as I've gotten pretrial earlier, so we'll go straight to you, Ms. Webb.
Yes, Your Honor. This particular case took place around 11 p.m. last night at the 400 northbound Holcomb Bridge Road in Roswell area. The Roswell Police Department initiated a traffic stop on a white GMC Terrain with Tennessee tags 44 A as in Ann, N as in Nolan, 37, after witnessing the defendant make a prohibited U-turn at the Market Boulevard and Holcomb Bridge Road intersections. Upon approaching the vehicle, the officer explained the reason for the stop was for that illegal U-turn, and she told the officer that she did not know where she was going and not familiar with the area. The officer asked her for her license, and when asked her where she was coming from, she advised the Osteria Matone on Canton Street in Roswell. He asked her how many drinks did she consume that evening, and she responded 3 beers, and the officer noticed the smell on her breath and asked her to step out of the vehicle. The defendant did tell the officer that she had a herniated disc and would not be able to stand on that right leg, so no field testing with turns were done. The officer did have her finish conducting a field test where she did have 3 validated cues of intoxication, including 6 observable clues. And she also submitted a sample of breath to a breathalyzer, in which it came back at 0.08, Your Honor. The state is making a recommendation for a $3,000 surety with no alcohol, drugs, or weapons in driving as conditions. In this particular case, it is a DUI, albeit her first offense. Whenever someone drives intoxicated, Your Honor, there's always a risk to the community. Nothing further.
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't understand your driving condition. You requested no driving?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. All right, Ms. Gant?
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Anna Clifford is 35 years old. She is a Tennessee native. However, she informs me that she is a musician who comes to the Atlanta area once a month to perform shows. Ms. Clifford has been married for 10 years. She has 3 fur babies. She has a bachelor's of arts in psychology. And again, as I stated, she is a full-time musician. She sings and plays the rhythm guitar. In fact, she has a show tonight at the Dahlonega Resort, Your Honor, at this point, I would just remind the court that these are allegations. She is committed to coming back to court to defend against these allegations. In light of the fact that this is my client's first arrest, I am requesting a signature bond on Ms. Clifford's behalf. We are opposed to any driving restrictions at this point, but we would not oppose any orders for no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, at this time, Ms. Clifford is going to receive a $3,000 surety bond. She is not to drive unless she has a license issued by the, I guess it will be the Tennessee Department of Driver Service. She is to have no weapons, drugs, or alcohol as a condition of this bond, if I hadn't already said that. Any questions from either party?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Nothing further from the state.
All right, best of luck to you, Ms. Clifford. Who do we have next?
Number 19, Mr. Whitlock.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
This is the
Good
case that the state
afternoon.
would like a breakout room for, Your Honor.
Okay, the state's requesting a breakout. All right, if you could put me, Ms. Duncan, and Mr. Cohen into a breakout room, that
And
would be
Mr.
great.
Walker.
Oh, and Mr. Walker.
And also J. Kim as well.
Do you hear me?
I would like to be there just to.
Oh, okay, I have no objection to Ms. Kim joining as well.
Hey, Judge, we also have Mr. Whitlock's mother in the courtroom as well.
Okay, thank you for letting me know. We await the breakout. All right, Mr. Whitlock, are you present?
I am.
I'm sorry, Mr. Cohen, making sure all the parties are back. Mr. Whitlock, your case is 22 CR 0022688H. You're charged with one count of harassing communications with an offense date of June the 30th of 2021. Do you understand your constitutional rights?
I do.
Can your attorney assist you by video? And can I conduct this hearing by video today?
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Duncan, please put the state's recommendation onto the record.
The state's recommendation in this case is a $5,000 cash only bond, no further contact with the victim, stay away from wherever the victim resides and the victim in general. 1 day anger awareness, no alcohol, drugs, and weapons.
All right, before I go to you, Mr. Cohen, for your bond argument, I am going to sound for the victim, last name Denny. Ms. Denny, if you are present on this Zoom conference and would like to be heard, this is your opportunity to do so. I don't believe that I see a person with that name on this conference. All right, hearing none, Mr. Cohen.
Thank you, Your Honor. Charlie is charged with a single misdemeanor. He is currently in college at Coastal College of Georgia, which is in Brunswick. He was arrested yesterday on this single misdemeanor warrant brought to Fulton County, where he arrived last evening. Charlie's currently in his freshman year of college. He has just about 3 weeks left to go in the semester, including finals, and I believe his last day of school will be on May the 7th. His parents are residents of Fulton County. His mother is present in the courtroom this afternoon. Charlie is 19 years old. He has no prior criminal history. He'll be 20 in June. He was born in Guatemala, but he's lived here in Atlanta with his parents since he was 6 months old, and this is the only home that he's ever known. Charlie graduated from high school from the Howard School here in Atlanta in 2020, and until he went away to college last fall in Brunswick, he'd never lived anywhere but his parents' home. He's majoring in communication. He has a job in Brunswick working at a GameStop. When the semester ends next month, he will be coming back to Atlanta for the summer to live with his parents. I do have that address if the court wants it, but obviously I won't broadcast that address on live stream.
We appreciate that.
Excuse me?
So we appreciate that. Keep going, Mr. Cohen.
Thank you, Your Honor. He has a job waiting for him at GameStop in Lenox Square for the summer, and he's probably going to seek a second job while he is home. He meets all of the bond factors. He's not a danger to persons or property. He is not a risk to intimidate witnesses or otherwise obstruct justice. We do anticipate the court will include a stay away order as a condition of bond, and we don't oppose that. He's definitely not a risk to flee this jurisdiction or to fail to appear for court. As I said, this is the only home that he knows. His parents are here. They have invested in his representation. He is not a risk to commit additional offenses while out on bond. And I do want to point out the Ayala factor I'm referring to is actually the risk of committing additional felonies. Charlie has no criminal history. He's not accused of a felony. He's before the court today charged with a misdemeanor. He clearly meets the bond criteria. He does need to be able to go back to Brunswick and finish the spring semester of his freshman year in college. He does have finals coming up. I'm asking the court for a signature bond or for a UJR and to allow Charlie to return to Coastal College of Georgia. The semester will be over next month, and then Charlie will be here in the metro area with his parents for the summer. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Mr. Howard, I need to confirm with you this was first. Mr. Howard, are you present?
Yes. First
Thank
arrest.
you. All right, I need to confirm. I could not read my own notes. Thank you. All right, is there anything further from either party before I make my decision?
Nothing further from the state, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
All right, at this time, Mr. Whitlock is going to receive a $1,000 surety bond. He is to have no further contact with the victim. I don't believe there's a stay away that's required here, and he is to have no weapons, drugs, or alcohol as a condition of his bond. Mr. Whitlock, if you see the you see the victim or you get any messages from her, do not respond. You turn around and walk in the opposite direction if you see her. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I believe that will conclude this case. Is there anything further from either party at this time?
Nothing.
No,
further
Your
from the
Honor.
state.
Thank you.
All right, best of luck to you, sir. Who do we have next?
Number 3, Mr.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you, Mr.
Yeah,
Are we
so you
excused?
yes, you can be excused. Have a great afternoon and great weekend.
Thank you. You too.
All right, who do we have next?
Number 3, Mr. Burgess.
Number 3. Who represents Mr. Burgess?
Wanda Gant, Your Honor.
Okay, good to see you, Ms. Gannigan. All right, Mr. Burgess, your case is 22 CR 0022663C, in which you're charged with driving under the influence of alcohol and speeding, each with offense dates of April the 14th of 2022. Do you understand your constitutional rights?
Yes, ma'am.
And can I conduct this hearing by video with your attorney helping you by video?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you, Mr. Howard.
11 total. His last arrest was in 1995. Suspended license, unregistered motor vehicle.
Okay, that's
That
all
was
right.
out of Delaware.
And that was the last one, so that we can go straight to Ms. Webb. Thank you, Mr. Howard.
Yes, Your Honor. The state is recommending a $3,500 total surety bond for Mr. Burgess. That's $500 surety for speeding, $3,000 surety for the DUI, no driving, and no alcohol or no alcohol, drugs, or weapons as conditions of bond. This particular incident took place on yesterday around this morning around 12:15 a.m. at the State Bridge Road and Twin Gate Drive intersection in Johns Creek, Georgia. The Johns Creek Police Department conducted a traffic stop after scanning the defendant doing 62 miles per hour in a 45-mile zone. The officer noticed a smell of alcohol coming from the vehicle. Upon his approach to that vehicle and talking with the defendant did advise to the officer that he had 2 Corona beers that evening. The defendant agreed to take a field test in which he had cues of impairment, including slurred speech, misspeaking on several occasions, bloodshot and watery eyes, and an alcoholic odor coming from his breath. The defendant also submitted to a breathalyzer, and that did return at 0.099 grams. Your Honor, albeit that the defendant's history is attenuated, he does have a previous or somewhat recent speeding ticket from 2010, Your Honor, but more so we are concerned about the threat to the community because he was driving under the influence of alcohol well over the legal limit and speeding while doing so. And we know when those 2 factors are combined, they often result in harm or injury to other people on the road, and he certainly could have injured himself. Nothing further for this time from the state, Your Honor.
Thank you, Ms. Webb. Ms. Gant.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Darren Burgess is 56 years old. He has been in the Atlanta, Georgia area since 1995. He is married and has been so for 12 years. He is the proud father of a 21-year-old daughter who is currently in college at Kennesaw State. He and his wife are actually paying to put her through school. He also has a minor child, 10 years old. Mr. Burgess has a BS in project management. He also is currently enrolled in pursuing a master's in healthcare management. In fact, he's about 5 classes away from obtaining that degree. He is currently employed at Paraline Finance in accounts receivable. Your Honor, these are allegations which my client disputes. He informs me that he has a history of diabetes and was quite tired at that time, and that certainly would explain some of his appearance on that evening. I acknowledge my client's history, however, it is quite remote. I do not believe that the court should consider a speeding ticket from 2010 and certainly not anything from 1995 for the operation of an unregistered motor vehicle. I am requesting a signature bond on my client's behalf. And if Your Honor determines that he is ineligible, then a bond of no more than $1,500, and that would be $1,000 for the DUI and $500 for the speeding. We are opposed to the no driving restriction, as we understand that that will be addressed at an administrative license hearing. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, Ms. Gant. At this time, Mr. Burgess is going to receive a $3,000 surety bond for count 1 and a $500 signature bond through the jail for count 2 for a total of $3,500. He is to not drive without a license issued by the Georgia DDS, and he is to have no weapons, drugs, or alcohol as a condition of this bond. Is there anything further from either party?
Nothing further from the state, Your Honor.
Nothing further from the defense. Thank you.
All right, best of luck to you, Mr. Burgess. Who do we have next?
Number 13, Mr. Pierce.
All right, good afternoon. Are you Antoine Pierce?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Pierce, your case is 22 CR 002253A. I'm Judge Melanie Williams. You've been charged with criminal trespass and damage to property with an offense date of March the 15th of 2022. Do you understand your constitutional rights?
Yes, ma'am.
Can your attorney assist you by video, and can hold this hearing by video today?
Yes, ma'am.
Who represents Mr. Pierce?
J. Kim, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
Oh,
He
I'm
is
sorry.
private counsel, Attorney Eric
No
Johnson.
problem.
Oh, Mr. Johnson, you represent Mr. Pierce. All right, thank you for clarifying that point. All right.
Your Honor, I just had a question. I'm looking at the jail system. It says that he has a $2,000 surety bond for that charge already. Just trying to see if
Is that
has it.
correct, Ms. Duncan? Does he already have a $2,000 bond?
Your Honor, Odyssey does state that this charge does have a preset surety bond, but the state would like to be heard on their position on that preset.
Of course, I just wanted to know what it was. All right. But we'll get back to you, Mr. Johnson. I hope that clarifies that point. Mr. Howard, can I have his history, please?
What you said the date of this warning is?
I'm sorry, the date of this offense date is March 15th of 2022.
He got 18 cycles. He been in jail since March 15th. Fleeing an officer, reckless stunt driving, possession of a controlled substance with intent, possession of a knife or a firearm during a commission, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon or felony first offender. He also had a probation hold for possession of cocaine. He was arrested in January for fleeing an officer, possession of a Schedule II, possession of a firearm, and possession by a convicted felon.
Was this, I'm sorry, I think that's enough, Mr. Howard. I don't mean to cut you off. I wanted to clarify one point. You said he's been in jail since March the 15th on this particular charge?
No.
Well, other charges, but his booking number is from March 15th. So he's been here since March. I don't know when this warrant was signed.
When was this accused, Ms. Duncan, or Mr. Walker? Perhaps if you're still here, you can shed some light on this. I just want to make sure that we don't have any other concerns regarding this, since he's been here quite some time.
Your Honor, this charge was accused today by myself.
Okay. All right, I understand. All right, go ahead. You can fill in from where Mr. Howard left off. Ms. Duncan, go ahead. And please give me the state's position.
Yes, the state's position is that we would like for the $2,000 surety bond that is preset on this charge to remain. We would also request no alcohol, drugs, and weapons, and 1-day anger awareness. In this case, Your Honor, on March 15th, 2022, there was an Officer Pearson waiting for the roll call at the Zone 5 precinct located at 200 Ted Turner Drive. While this officer was inside the office, Georgia State Police had in their custody the defendant in this case. He was sitting on a bench. And when the Georgia State Police began to escort the defendant out of the precinct, this defendant became angry and irate and kicked the door leading to the Zone 5 precinct office, causing damage to that door. The defendant then kicked another door leading to the entrance of the precinct, but that door was not damaged as a result of that second kick. And those are the facts and circumstances surrounding this case. The defendant does have a disorderly conduct conviction from 2010, several counts of probation revocation, one in 2018, another probation revocation in 2019, and the last arrest, as pretrial stated, is that fleeing and eluding, reckless stunt driving. Given those facts and circumstances, we're concerned about the violent nature of this offense, and we request the bond to remain as preset with no alcohol, drugs, and weapons, and 1-day anger awareness.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Johnson?
Yes, Your Honor, just for the court certification. My client was arrested on March 15th for the other charges that he has. And then during his arrest, as the state alleged, he allegedly kicked the door, which gave rise to the criminal trespass charge in this particular situation. He has resolved his recent probation issues. That matter has been taken care of. We took care of that on Wednesday before Judge Ingram. So I do not believe he has anything else holding him in here at the time. He is a lifetime Atlanta resident. He is the father of 4 children, all under the age of 10 years old. Your Honor, in this particular situation, there was no act of violence toward the police officers themselves. As the state indicated, he kicked a door, which gave rise for the criminal trespass charge in this case. I do see where he has been granted a surety bond on all of these charges, Your Honor. The bond being set at $2,000 surety, we would ask that it remain as well, Your Honor.
All right, you're asking for the charge to remain at $2,000? surety?
I mean, I would prefer a signature bond, but 2,000 is reasonable. A signature bond, if the court would be so inclined. I mean, he has to make bond on all the other charges, as well. But
All right, I understand your position, Mr. Johnson. Thank you. Anything
Right.
further from either the state or the defense?
Nothing further from the state, Your Honor.
All right, at this time, Mr. Pierce is gonna receive $1,000 surety bond. He is to have no weapons, drugs, or alcohol as a condition of bond.
thank you, Your Honor.
All right, anything further? If not, best of luck to you, Mr. Pierce.
Thank you. May I be excused, Your Honor?
Yes, you may. Have a great afternoon and great weekend.
Thank you, you too.
All right, I see a Stephen Byrne on the Zoom conference. Mr. Byrne, who do you represent?
I represent Christopher Matthew, Your Honor.
Is it possible for us to take that position?
Yeah, we can do him after Mr. number 12.
Okay, we'll try to get to you next then, sir. All right, who is before me now?
12, Mr. Morale.
Okay, Mr. Morale, good afternoon. I'm Judge Melanie Williams. Your case is 22 CR 002255J, and what you're charged with criminal trespass with an offense date of April the 14th. Do you understand your constitutional right?
Yes, ma'am.
Can I conduct this hearing by video?
Yes, ma'am.
And can your attorney represent you by video?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Howard.
16 total. The last arrest was April 9th. Possession of drug-related objects.
Okay.
Before that was April 2021, FTA for disorderly conduct. February 2021, trespass. 2018, FTA trespass. 2018, trespass conviction. We got a lot of trespass.
I think I understand. Thank you, Mr. Howard. Ms. Duncan, we'll go to you.
Yes, Your Honor. In this case, it occurred yesterday at about 5:10 p.m. at 235 Peachtree Street, which is the Garnett MARTA station. In this case, the defendant is alleged to have entered the northbound tracks of the Garnett MARTA station when there were signs prohibiting patrons not to do so at that time. That gave rise to the probable cause to take out this warrant on the defendant. This case currently has a preset $1,500 surety bond, given the facts and the defendant's history, which is largely consistent with criminal trespass, including convictions and no low pleas. We would request, and some FTAs, so we have a concern about the flight risk. We will request that the bond remains set at $1,500 and that this defendant stay away from all MARTA and there be no alcohol, drugs, or weapons.
All right, thank you. Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. Hold on, please. Thank you, Your Honor, for being patient. I'm trying to find my screen to make sure. Okay. Mr. Morrow is actually homeless. He has been homeless quite a bit, and I am actually working on the social worker services for him and also to get behavioral health evaluation tests for him. And he has no job at this point, and actually he has no family. He does have a little bit of a disability. He has challenges with his arms, and he has not been able to work well. So we would like to request for signature bond on behalf of him. Otherwise, the minimum surety bond for like $100 or maximum $250, Your Honor. Thank you very much.
What is your position regarding the stay away from all of MARTA, Ms. Kim?
That is fine because he is not employed at this point and he does not have to use it to go to work or anything like that.
All right. At this time, Mr. Morale is going to receive a $2,000 signature bond through the jail. He is not to return to MARTA at any point. He's to stay entirely away from MARTA as a condition of his bond. He is to have no weapons, drugs, or alcohol. And it's my hope, Ms. Kim, that you're able to get him some services despite the signature bond.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Best of luck to you, Mr. Morale. Who do we have next?
Number 4, Mr. Christopher.
And we aren't able to go to I'm sorry, Mr. Byrne, what was the position who's your client again?
Hey, it's Christopher Matthew. I think he's coming up.
Oh, that is who. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
And what number is Mr. Matthew?
4.
Okay. Oh, okay. Is it Christopher Matthew or is he Matthew Christopher? What's your name, sir?
Christopher Matthew.
Okay, it's reversed on my calendar. That's fine. Mr. Matthew, your case is 22 CR 00226 in which you're charged with battery, simple battery, and theft by taking, each with offense dates of February the 25th of 2022. Do you understand your constitutional rights?
Yes, ma'am.
Can I conduct this hearing by video?
Yes, ma'am.
And can your attorney, Mr. Stephen Byrne, assist you by video today?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Howard.
This third arrest, 2009, unauthorized possession of a firearm. That was in the Virgin Islands. That was dismissed. January 2020, simple battery DV. I think it's the same victim. He got first offender for that. That's all.
Okay, thank you. All right, Ms. Webb, is this your case?
Yes, Your Honor, I'll be representing the state.
All right, Ms. Webb, your recommendation.
The state is recommending for the battery offense, a $2,000 surety bond, for the simple battery, $1,000 surety bond, and for the theft by taking, an $1,000 surety, totaling $4,000 surety bond, a stay away from the incident location at 400 Carondelet, that is CARONDELEETE, Court Southwest Atlanta. No further contact with the victim, Mr. Mickey Wagner. That's Mickey, MICKY, Wagner, WAGNER. 1 day anger awareness, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, and to return the stolen bag to Mr. Wagner because it does contain vital identifiers, including birth certificates, photo ID, passports, and credit and debit cards. Your Honor, this particular incident took place on February 25th, 2022. The Atlanta Police Department responded to a domestic dispute call at that incident location, and was met with by the defendant's ex-boyfriend, Mr. Wagner, who is the victim in this case. Mr. Wagner alleged that Mr. Matthew came to the house unannounced and told him he was there to retrieve his mail. The parties were dating for 5 years and broke up earlier in the year. The defendant then demanded that Wagner give him gas money, and Wagner told him that he did not tell him to come over and that he needed to leave the premises. And as Mr. Wagner walked away to go back into his home, the defendant grabbed him by his shirt from behind and proceeded to yell at him, "You're mine," and pointed his finger in his face. The two did engage in a verbal dispute, and the defendant pulled Wagner, causing him to fall and allegedly dragging him across the concrete and causing him to sustain lacerations to his knees. And he continued to drag him through the doorway of that home. Mr. Wagner told him that he's going to call 911, and the defendant left in a 2015 Dodge Charger with Georgia tags S1081414. And as Mr. Wagner entered back into that home, the defendant did come back and came back into the driveway and told him that he had to use the bathroom, and entered into the home and proceeded to enter into Mr. Wagner's bedroom and allegedly grabbed a Coach bag and ran out of the front door and told him that he's going to quote unquote F his life up, and left the scene in that same vehicle. The Coach bag did contain cash, a driver's license, passports, birth certificates, debit and credit cards, and a Samsung cell phone. Your Honor, pretrial can confirm this, but I have that there were two incidents, one occurring on January the 4th, 2020, and a second on January the 6th, 2020, out of city of South Fulton, in which he does have a wanted person for simple battery as well. The state is concerned with a risk of reoffending and witness intimidation in this case, considering those two open cases, and that the defendant, as alleged by the victim, did come to his home unprovoked and unannounced. Your Honor, nothing further.
All right, thank you. Before I go to Mr. Byrne, I am going to sound for Mr. Mickey Wagner. Mr. Wagner, if you are present on this Zoom conference and would like to make a statement, this is your opportunity to do so. All right, hearing none, Mr. Byrne, we'll go to you.
Good afternoon, Your Honor, and happy Good Friday. This is Mr. Matthew that's before you. He is 32 years old, and he resides in the Metro Atlanta area with his significant other, Eutimio Juarez. Mr. Matthew works a couple of jobs. The most time-consuming, he works in the warehouse at a bakery. He also has another part-time job. Your Honor, we have no objection with most of the recommendations by the Assistant Solicitor General. For instance, we have no objection to staying away from 400 Carondelet. Court or Cove Southwest. We have no objection to no contact with the alleged victim in this case, Mickey Lee Wagner. We would like the court to look at the fact that the battery and simple battery appear to be alternative charges. In fact, on the incident report, it is just noted as battery, not simple battery. We would ask that the court set a bond in the amount of $3,000, which could be a signature-only bond or a UJR bond. We do not believe he needs pretrial supervision. I don't think the state does either. At this point in time, we would ask not to order anger awareness, and I will look into the alleged victim's request about a coach bag, but I can't really respond to that, having heard that for the first time today. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Burke. All right, at this time, Mr.
Oh, wait, I'm
Matthews.
sorry, Your Honor, one more thing.
Yes.
Mr. Matthews voluntarily surrendered on this case, and I know that sometimes is important to the court. Mr. Matthew became aware of this warrant incidentally, and he actually came to my office and we arranged for his surrender last night. So I don't believe that he's a risk of flight. Thank you. Sorry.
All right. Oh, thank you for clarifying that point. All right, on the first, Mr. Matthews is going to receive a $2,000 surety bond broken down as follows. It's going to be $1,000 for count 1, $500 for count 2, and $500 for count 3. So that should equal a total of $2,000. He is to have no further contact with the victim, alleged victim, last name Wagner. He is to stay away from the address on Carondelet Court. He is to have no weapons, drugs, or alcohol as a condition of this bond. Are there any matters that I have not addressed as part of this bond ruling?
No, Your Honor. Nothing
No,
further.
Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, hearing none, that will conclude his case and you can be excused, Mr. Byrne.
Bye-bye.
Have a great afternoon. Take care. All right, who do we have next?
Number 18, Mr. Topkins.
Okay, good afternoon, Mr. Tompkins. Your case is 22 CR 002267Y. You're charged with simple battery family violence with an offense date of March 12th. Do you understand your constitutional rights?
Yes, ma'am.
Can I conduct this hearing by video?
Yes, ma'am.
And can your attorney assist you by video?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Howard.
Second arrest. Last was back in November. Felony theft by taking. Misdemeanor possession of marijuana. He's out on pretrial for that.
Okay. All right, Ms. Duncan.
Yes, Your Honor. As you stated, this incident did take place on March 12, 2022. Officers were dispatched to the location on a weapons call at 2093 Lenox Road Northeast. Once on scene, officers were met with the victim in this case, and Ms. Jantinelle, that's Jantineal Tompkins, who is the adopted sister of the defendant in this case, and she stated to officers that she was in a dispute with her adopted brother. She had kicked him out previously because he came back to her house banging on the door at about 1 o'clock in the morning, and she said that she felt sorry for him and that she let him in. She left for the day, came back, and she went into the room with him, and he had a girl in the room with him, and she told him, you know, that he needed to leave. And upon her telling him that he needed to leave, he became irate, and he grabbed a wooden pole off of the bed and pointed it towards her, and he began grabbing his stuff, and then a physical altercation ensued between him and the victim. In this case, he did state to the victim that he would kill her. So in an attempt to protect herself, she grabbed another one of the other wooden pillars off of the bed and told him to leave. And upon walking him towards the door, out of nowhere, he grabbed a hammer and told her that if she was to hit him, he would hit her with that hammer. When she attempted to close the doorway, somehow he managed to get back inside the door And when he got back in, he began swinging the hammer at her. Sometime during this altercation, Your Honor, the defendant was, the victim, my apologies, was grabbed and struck by the defendant in this case. When officers arrived, he had already left this scene, and she got on the phone to call the police. He left the scene because she called the police. She gave them a description of the defendant, and they were able to find him. Given the violent nature of this offense, Your Honor, and that the victim has indicated that, he was previously told to leave her home, we would request a $2,500 surety bond. Even though this is his first offense, it's violent in nature, so we have concern. We would ask that he have no further contact with the victim in this case. And we ask that there be a stay away from the incident location, as our records indicate that it's her location. 1-day anger awareness, and no alcohol, drugs, and weapons.
All right, thank you. I'm going to sound for the victim, last name Tompkins. If you are present on this Zoom conference, this is your opportunity to speak. All right, hearing none, Ms. Kim.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Tompkins is actually 17 years old, and he says that he does not live with his adopted sister. He has not been in that location for the last 4 months already. So he does not understand why there is such an allegation right now. He denies that. And as the warrant clearly states that there was no evidence of him being there, actually, first of all. And number two, there was, even the complaining witness didn't have any kind of injury, visual injury to her body at all. Anyway, 17 years old, he's still going to school, high school, 12th grade, and last 6 months he has been working and going to school full-time, cashier, stocker, home renovation. He has done a lot of odd jobs to make a means, and he does not have a lot of resources to pay for any kind of bond. Your Honor, theft by taking has nothing to do with this kind of violence at all. There was no other violence history. We request for a signature on bond, please. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, Ms. Kim. At this time, Mr. Tompkins is going to receive a $2,000 surety bond. He is to have no further contact with the victim. He must stay away from the incident location, and he is to have no weapons, drugs, or alcohol as a condition of this bond. Is there any further questions from either party?
Signature bond or surety bond?
It's surety bond. I'm sorry, Ms. Kim, at this time.
Surety bond?
Yes, it'll be a surety bond, Ms. Kim.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. All right. Is there anything further?
No.
Nothing further from the state.
All right, thank you. All right, I appreciate your advocacy, Ms. Kim, I do, but it will be a surety bond at this time. All right, who do we have next?
Number 7, Mr. Frederick.
All right. Good afternoon, Mr. Frederick. Your case is 22 CR 002257F, in which you're charged with fleeing or attempting to elude a police officer, driving with a suspended or revoked license, and reckless driving, each with offense dates of March the 28th of 2020. Do you understand your constitutional rights?
Yes.
And can I conduct this hearing by video?
Yes.
Can your attorney assist you by video?
Yes.
All right, thank you, Mr. Howard.
15 total. He's been here since April 2nd for felony charges. 2018 probation violation, false imprisonment. 2018 probation violation, theft by receiving stolen property. The false imprisonment came from a 2015 arrest. 2014 FTA suspended license. 2015 fleeing an officer suspended license conviction. 2014 probation violation, 2013, same thing. That's enough. That's enough.
Yeah, that's sufficient. Thank you. Ms. Webb.
Yes, Your Honor. The defendant currently, hold on, excuse me, Mr. Frederick. Yes, the defendant currently has a total preset bond for each charge at $5,000 surety. However, the state, totaling $15,000 surety. However, the state is going to request $1,500 surety for the license, driving while license suspended, a $2,500 surety for reckless driving, and a $2,000 surety for fleeing, totaling $6,000 surety with no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, and no driving as a condition. This case did take place on April the 28th, 2020 in Main Street on College Park, Georgia, where the College Park Police Department attempted to pull the defendant over for a traffic violation on Main Street. And instead of pulling over, the defendant took off at a high rate of speed, ran through several stop signs and stoplights, and swerved in and out of traffic, causing a chase to engage in a chase with the police officer. The defendant's license was suspended at that time and has been suspended since December 2016 for child support obligations, Your Honor. We do want to alert the court that since this particular case, the defendant has accrued additional cases, including an open case for battery, aggravated assault, and driving while license is suspended out of Fulton County. Your Honor, the state is considering this to be a threat to the community because of the fact that that particular area, there's a ton of businesses and near the airport and where there's a lot of development going on. There's a local MARTA police station and as well as a school, 2 private schools, and a high school on that street, Your Honor. And that could have definitely ended up in someone getting severely injured or hurt, considering that that is only a 2-lane street for the most part, Your Honor, with high foot traffic. For those reasons, Your Honor, considering that new open case and the facts of this case, the state is going to request a $6,000 total surety bond.
Thank you. Ms. Gant?
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Lenny Fedrick is 42 years old. He has been in the Atlanta, Georgia area his entire life. He has family here, including his 2 children, ages 16 and 12. He states that he pays child support. Your Honor, Mr. Fedrick completed high school. He has an associate's degree in applied sciences and business administration. He is self-employed. He owns a moving company, affordable moving company, and he states that his business has suffered since he has been incarcerated for 11 days, Your Honor. He was arrested 11 days ago, and he's just now coming before you for these driving offenses that occurred almost 2 years ago, April 18, 2020. He denies the allegations, Your Honor. He just posted bond $32,000. I think that alone secures his, or should inform the court that he is serious about coming back to court to defend against these allegations. I am requesting a signature bond on my client's behalf, Your Honor, and a $6,000 signature bond we believe is reasonable in this case, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, thank you. At this time, Mr. Fedrick is going to receive a $1,500 surety bond, $500 on each charge. He is to have no weapons, drugs, or alcohol, and no driving as a condition of this bond. Is there anything further from either party?
Nothing from the defense, Your Honor. Thank you.
Nothing further.
All right, best of luck to you, sir. Who do we have next?
Mr. Bryant.
Is that position 2?
Yes,
Good
ma'am.
afternoon, Mr. Bryant. Your case is 22 CR 002250A, in which you're charged with battery. Do you understand your constitutional rights?
Yes, ma'am.
Can I conduct this hearing by video?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. And can your attorney assist you by video?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Howard?
Bryant, 9 total. Last arrest was back in November. Simple battery, family violence, simple battery against police or detention officer. He's out on pretrial for that. 21 CP 204325. That's an open DUI, reckless driving, possession of an open container. 21 CR 001-270A as an apple. I got a 2016 battery family violence conviction. 2018 ag assault strangulation, that was dismissed. 2012 battery first offender. Yeah, the 2013 ag assault that was dismissed. That's it.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Webb?
Yes, Your Honor. The state is going to recommend a $5,000 surety bond with no further contact with Mr. Kenneth Bunkley. That's Kenneth, Kenneth Bunkley, Bunkley, a stay away from the incident location at 5401 Old National Highway, apartment 2005, one-day anger awareness, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. This incident occurred on yesterday around 8:30 in the morning, where there was a dispute involving the defendant and his roommates. The defendant is alleged to have engaged in a verbal dispute with that member of his household over finances. The defendant and the victim were upstairs. According to the third roommate, the defendant and the victim were upstairs of the home, and that third roommate was awakened by the loud and verbal argument. And he says that he witnessed the defendant take that other roommate's phone, Mr. Bunkley's phone, and allegedly choked him. And he was able to separate the two after, hearing the screams from Mr. Bunkley asking him to come help him and get him off of him, Your Honor. Considering that this particular case did take place on yesterday, we do not believe there's a sufficient cooling off period. In addition to what you heard from pretrial, Your Honor, the state is concerned with the risk of reoffending, considering those previous ag assault arrests. In addition to, there appears to be an open case for ag assault strangulation, which the defendant received a $15,000 bond on a June 2018 case for ag assault, Your Honor. I did not see a disposition for that case. In addition to, Your Honor, he does have battery, family violence, and battery against a law enforcement officer from November of 2021 in Atlanta, Your Honor. That case is still pending disposition as well. For those reasons, and considering the level of violence that was displayed in the strangulation, Your Honor, and the report from the victim, Your Honor, we are requesting that $5,000 surety bond. And I believe Mr. Bunkley is also on the call as well.
All right, at this time, Mr. Bunkley, if you would like to make a statement, you are not required to make one. But if you would like to, when you're present on the Zoom conference, you will need to turn on your video and audio.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I need you to turn on your video so we can identify you.
It won't let me start. Gotcha.
All right, do you wish to make a statement?
I don't got nothing to say.
You
I
said
really got nothing to say. I just want him to get his, just get him. I just
before
want him
you
to wear around.
wait, before you say anything, since you are saying something, please raise your right hand. Do you swear and affirm that everything you say, any testimony you give will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, what would you like to tell me?
Like I just told his attorney earlier, this morning, I don't want him around no more. Like after what happened and stuff, this not the first time it happened. This is the second time this has happened. So I don't want him nowhere around.
All right, thank you.
Yes.
Ms. Gant?
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. John Bryan is 32 years old. He has been in the Atlanta, Georgia area his entire life. He has parents here and aunts. Your Honor, we are unopposed to the stay away at 501 Old National Highway. Mr. Bryan informs me that he does have an alternate address and that he does not want any contact with Mr. Kenneth Bunkley. Mr. Bryant completed high school. He has an associate's degree in communications. Your Honor, my client is missing work. He has missed the past 2 days. He just found new employment at Taco Bell 3 months ago. He states that he was promoted to manager within that 3-month window. He begins manager training on Monday. Despite having family in the area, Your Honor, he does not have anyone to call to help him pay anything toward bond. He denies the allegations, and while I acknowledge my client's history, I would bring to the court's attention, as we heard from pretrial, that 2018 aggravated assault strangulation was null prost, Your Honor. And further, for any open cases, he is presumed innocent. We do believe that the stay away and no contact provisions will take care of any concerns regarding reoffending. My client does not have anything to pay toward bond. I am requesting a signature bond. However, if Your Honor determines that he is ineligible, then the lowest bond possible, as he doesn't have the means to pay anything toward bond. And we would request a one-time law enforcement escort, as he does have belongings still remaining at the incident location. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. At this time, Mr. Bryan is going to receive a $2,000 surety bond. He is to stay away from the address on Old National Highway and have no further contact with the victim, last name Bunkley. He can return one time with a member of law enforcement to get any items, and he is to have no weapons, drugs, or alcohol as a condition of this bond.
Oh, excuse me.
Yes, very
I got one more
quickly.
thing. So I'm actually, I don't know when he's gonna get released or anything. My schedule is really
Wait.
off. Like,
I understand. Please speak to his attorney. I don't want you to say something on the record that may affect his case, all right?
all
Ms.
right.
Gant, if you'll speak with him perhaps to coordinate getting any possessions, all right?
Miss Kent, you have my telephone number?
I do not, sir. May you place it in the chat to me?
All right, best of luck to you, sir. Who do we have next? Please put any information into the chat feature or contact or email Ms. Gant, Mr. Bunkley. Thank you. All right, who do we have next?
Number 6, Mr. Ezra.
All right, good afternoon, Mr. Ezzard. Your case is 22 CR 002261B.
And Your Honor, this is a co-defendant case as well, with position number 9, just to alert the court.
Okay, thank you. All right, Mr. Ezzard, can I conduct this hearing by video today?
Yeah, ma'am.
And can your attorney assist you by video?
Yes.
All right. And to be clear, you're charged with 1 count of willful obstruction and 1 count of pedestrian in the roadway with an offense date of April the 14th. Mr. Howard, can I have his history, please?
4th arrest. Last was back in March 2021 for trespass. That's opening Judge Porter. That's 21 CR 001075B. He has an open simple battery, 20 CR 005-851B. Open criminal damage to property, 2nd degree, battery DV, 20 CP 195753. He went to felony earlier and got a $5,000 good bond for whatever the charge was.
All right, thank you. Ms. Webb?
Judge Williams,
Yes.
this is a conflict attorney case, and we don't have a conflict attorney available today.
Okay. Right, okay.
That are conflict cases.
Thank you for letting me know, Mr. Jordan. I appreciate that. Mr. Ezzard, what that means is even though you have a right to an attorney at this proceeding, one is not available to you. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna listen to the facts of this case. And if I don't feel that I can give you a signature bond, we're gonna reset your case until tomorrow, at which time you will have the opportunity to have an attorney present. It is my hope. Would you like to go forward with this hearing today with me providing very limited representation of yourself, or would you just like it to be reset until tomorrow?
No, man, I represent myself.
Okay, and if I don't feel that I can give you a signature bond, you will appear again tomorrow, all right?
Okay.
All right, Ms. Webb?
Yes, Your Honor. The state is recommending for Mr. Ezzard a $1,500 surety for each count for the obstruction and pedestrian roadway, largely based on Mr. Ezzard's history and of FTAs, Your Honor, and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons as a condition of bond. This incident took place on yesterday around the 1483 Langford Junior Place, Atlanta address, where Mr. Ezzard, along with co-defendant Mr. Johnson, who is position 6 on today's calendar, where the two parties are accused of hindering Georgia State Trooper Gordon and Officer Adams with the Atlanta Police Department in administering their lawful duties by resisting lawful arrest. Your Honor, our office is still gathering the facts surrounding this incident to see if there's any other charges that may be prosecuted in another office in relation to this, Your Honor. But for this particular case, we are making that $3,000 total surety, as the defendant does have open cases, several for a felony theft by taken out of city of South Fulton from May of 2021, where the defendant allegedly stole a firearm from a victim. He FTA'd on a December 2021 case out of Atlanta. He's wanted out of Fulton as well for a larceny case. He does have that open simple battery case of Atlanta 2020 and criminal damage to property and battery family violence, which are two separate cases, Your Honor. And in addition to a criminal trespass out of Atlanta for a criminal trespass family violence, out of Atlanta. For those reasons, Your Honor, considering the history of FTAs, we do believe he's a flight risk and has a risk of reoffending. So we are making that $1,500 surety bond for Mr. Ezzard.
Okay, thank you. Because you don't have an attorney at this time, Mr. Ezzard, I'm going to issue my ruling, and you will be so reset till tomorrow if you do not make bond. On count one, you're gonna receive $1,000 surety bond, and on count two, you're gonna receive $1,000 signature bond through the jail. So essentially, you'll only have to bond out through a bonding company for the first count. You are to stay away from that incident. Were you requesting to stay away, Ms. Webb? That was unclear to me.
Yes, Your
Yes.
Honor. We're
Yes.
still gathering facts. Cannot tell if they were just found in the roadway around that address or if there's an incident associated with that address. So we would like to request to stay away as we could still conduct the investigation.
All right. He is to stay away. You know what? All right, at this time, I'm gonna amend my ruling. He's gonna receive a $2,000 signature bond through the jail. He is to stay away from that incident location and have no weapons, drugs, or alcohol as a condition of this bond. All right.
All right.
Is there any questions? Anything further from you, Ms. Webb?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, best of luck to you, Mr. Ezzard. Who do we have next?
Number 9, Mr. Johnson.
All right, this is the same facts of the case, I'm assuming.
Yes, Your
Ms.
Honor.
Webb.
Yes, Your
Okay.
Honor. The recommendation is different, considering Mr. Johnson's history.
Let me give him his rights first. Hold on.
I'm sorry.
Mr. Johnson, your case is 22 CR 002256F, in which you're charged with pedestrian in a roadway and willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer with an offense date of April the 14th. Do you understand your constitutional rights?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you, can I conduct this hearing by video, and can your attorney assist you by video?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I appreciate that. Mr. Howard?
Check your chat.
Okay, all right, I understand that. Thank you. Anything else? All right, Ms. Webb, we'll go to you.
Yes, Your Honor. The state is recommending $1,000 surety on both counts for Mr. Johnson, as well as a no alcohol, drugs, or weapons as a condition of bond, Your Honor. Same facts as stipulated, and on position number 9, where Mr. Ezzard is a co-defendant with Mr. Johnson, where the two were alleged to have obstructed Georgia State Trooper Gordon and Officer Adams with Atlanta Police Department. As stated previously, our office is still conducting an investigation on this particular case, but considering the defendant's history, which you have been alerted by the pre-trial, Your Honor, we are making that $2,000 total surety bond today.
Thank you, Ms. Camp.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Samuel Johnson is 18 years old. He has been in the Atlanta, Georgia area his entire life. He has family here, including his aunt and his father. Mr. Johnson completed the 11th grade. He plans to soon begin efforts to obtain his GED. He is currently employed at the PCA warehouse part-time. He has been in this position for the past 3 months. Your Honor, he denies the allegations. And despite that open case, Your Honor, without any convictions, my client in essence has no prior convictions, and the open case is certainly unrelated to these non-violent offenses, pedestrian in the roadway and willful obstruction of law enforcement officer. My client informs me that he is deathly afraid of the police, Your Honor. I am requesting a signature bond on Mr. Johnson's behalf. I've been in touch with his aunt, Felicia Boozer. She is not willing to co-sign any surety bonds, Your Honor. So I, again, am requesting a signature bond on my client's behalf. And if your honor determines that he is ineligible, then the lowest bond possible. Thank you.
All right, as is the case of Mr. Ezra, he will also receive the $2,000 signature bond through the jail. He is stay away from that incident location and have no weapons, drugs, or alcohol as a condition of his bond. Anything further from either party?
Nothing further from the defense. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, best of luck to you, sir. Who do we have next?
Number 10, Mr. King.
Mr. King, your case is 22 CR 00260C, in which you're charged with theft by taking with an offense date of February the 24th. Do you understand your constitutional rights?
No, ma'am. You said I had theft by taking?
That's the charge you're here for today.
Is that a felony or?
This don't say too many things. Your attorney is here to help you with this. Can your attorney help you by video?
Yes, I see. Is that a misdemeanor?
It is a misdemeanor. And
excuse me, may I talk?
No, I don't want you to say too much. Please remain silent. Anything you say will be used against you, Mr. King. Okay? All right, Mr. King, can I conduct this hearing by video?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and can your attorney assist you by video? You can ask limited questions at the end, but the best thing for you to do is let Ms. Gant run this hearing, all right?
If it don't sound right, can I interrupt? Never mind. You got.
I don't think you should. I don't think you should. You have a right to remain silent. I suggest that you strongly use that. Let's go to Mr. Howard first. Mr. Howard?
His third adult arrest. Last arrest was back in October on Martyr for criminal trespass. September 2021, misdemeanor possession of marijuana. He's a resident of Albany, Georgia.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Webb?
Yes, Your Honor. This incident took place on February the 24th of this year around 2:30 in the afternoon at an incident location of 1055 DeKalb Avenue in Atlanta. The defendant is alleged to have taken a black Samsung Android cell phone from the victim, Mr. Keith Robinson. That cell phone, of course, is valued at less than $1,500, but he allegedly at that property, that phone was in a wall charging, and he unplugged the phone and left and walked away with that phone in his hands, Your Honor. The state is recommending for the defendant a $1,500 surety bond with a stay away from that incident location and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons as a condition of bond.
All right, thank you. Ms. Gant?
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Jesse King is 19 years old. He has been in the Atlanta area his entire life. He has family here, including his parents. Your Honor, we are opposed to the stay away at 1055 DeKalb Avenue Northeast unless he has an active MARTA suspension in place. Mr. King completed the 9th grade. He at this time is unemployed. He denies the allegations, and I am requesting a signature bond on Mr. King's behalf. According to the report that I received, he is recommended. We are again opposed to the stay away unless there's an active suspension. And if Your Honor determines that he's ineligible for that signature bond, then the lowest bond possible, as he does not have the means to pay much toward bond, if anything. Thank you, Your Honor.
All
And,
right,
and Your Honor, if I may as well, considering
very briefly, Ms. Webb, very
Yes,
briefly.
Your
I think
Honor.
I understand this case pretty well. Go ahead.
Okay, just because he has that open case for MARTA, we're going to request that stay away.
All right, thank you. All right, at this time, Mr. King is going to receive a $3,500 signature bond through the jail. He is to stay away from that address at DeKalb Avenue. Do not go back there, Mr. King, and you are to have no weapons, drugs, or alcohol as a condition of this bond. Is there anything further from either party?
Nothing further.
Nothing
All right,
further, Your Honor. Thank you.
Mr. King, that will conclude your case. Are you saying something, or the best thing for you to do, Mr. King, is to speak with Ms. Gant? That will conclude your case. Who do we have next? Mr. King seems to have a concern. Okay.
I will give him a call. I will give him
All
a
right.
call.
Will you
Thank
unmute him very briefly at courtroom 2? Mr. King, what was your concern? Please don't say anything about this case. I gave you a signature bond. All right. Who do we have next?
Yeah, number 14, Mr. Reed.
Okay. Good afternoon. Your case is 22 CR 002259A, in which you're charged with simple battery family violence with an offense date of January the 28th of 2022. Do you understand your constitutional rights?
Yes, ma'am.
Can I conduct this hearing by video?
Yes, ma'am.
And can your attorney, do you have, is this a conflict case?
Yes.
Oh, this is a conflict case. So that means that you do not have an attorney assigned to you today, even though you have a right to one today. If I do not feel that I can give you a signature bond, I will reset your case till tomorrow after listening to the case and setting a bond today. And hopefully a conflict attorney will be available at that time. All right.
No.
All right, Ms. Duncan.
Yes, Your Honor. One moment. My computer is freezing.
You want the history?
Oh, yeah, I do. I'm sorry. Mr. Howard, please give me the history. I have jail first. That's not correct.
For Reed?
Oh, clearly that's not correct. I must have wrote it next to the wrong one. The history, please, Mr. Howard.
24 total.
Oh,
Last
that is
arrest-
quite different. Okay, thank you.
Last was 2020, battery, second. Subsequent conviction, cruelty in the third. All right, so he got an open case for ag assault, DV, robbery, theft by taking, cruelty in the third, 19 SC 166666. He's out on pretrial for battery, DV, second or subsequent offense, 20 CP 193871. That pretrial bond is 11,000.
Okay, thank
Want
you.
more or
Ms.
that's
Duncan.
enough?
That, I think I've got it. Ms. Duncan?
Yes, Your Honor, I just wanted to state that, as pretrial stated, this defendant does have 24 cycles in the last, and as a convicted felon, they go back to 2006. There are 2 cases open in the last 5 years. Those cases are 19 SC 166666, which is the open ag assault from and on the 20 CP 193871. Both of those cases are against the same victim, Your Honor. And on that initial 19 SC case, the defendant received a no bond with an order of no further contact with this victim, Your Honor. And on that 20 CP case, this victim received a $7,000 sign-on bond. The facts in this case are the incident occurred on January 28th, 2022. Officers were dispatched to the location of 445 Cleveland Avenue, Southeast, apartment M129 in Atlanta. Upon officers' arrival, they spoke with a Mrs. Adrian Harris. She advised officers that her husband, the defendant in this case, was upset because their dog kept barking. And Ms. Harris stated to officers that she was on the phone with her brother, and Mr. Reed slapped the phone out of her hand and knocked the phone down on the floor. She said that when she bent down to pick up the cell phone, the defendant grabbed her by her shirt in her chest area, and then she proceeded to follow their dog, who was still, well, he proceeded to follow their dog, who was still barking at that time. And in this case, Your Honor, the defendant walked into the room where the dog was. He came back into the room with the victim and stated that he had killed the dog. The victim said that she began to immediately cry, and she saw the dog laying on the ground, and the dog appeared to be lifeless. Upon later notice, Your Honor, though, the dog, we haven't confirmed whether or not the dog was okay, but there are conflicting reports of whether or not the dog was okay. But I just wanted the court to note that this is his third case of some sort of violence with this same victim. He is currently on a no bond with a no further contact with this victim. And for those reasons, Your Honor, the state is requesting a $7,000 cash only bond, no further contact with the victim in this case. If there are children involved, we will request a third party transfer, stay away from the incident location. If that is no longer where the victim resides, we would ask that stay away to be from wherever she resides. We would ask for a 6-week family violence course and no alcohol, drugs, and weapons.
Who is the, what is the victim's last name? I did not catch that, Ms.
The
Duncan.
victim is Adrian Harris. Adrian, Adrienne, Harris, common spelling.
I'm here.
I'm gonna, okay, Ms. Harris, do you wish to make a statement?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, please raise your right hand. Do you swear and affirm the testimony you give today will be the truth to the best of your knowledge and under the penalty of perjury?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, what would you like to tell the court? And very limited facts, I'm gonna ask you to limit it to whether you would like to have contact with the defendant. Right now, the defendant does not have an attorney, so we're gonna keep these facts very limited today, all right? Go ahead, Ms. Harris, thank you.
Well, I don't know how would that go because we're married now.
Okay.
And like I told the officer, I don't know where they get the barking from, but he was not upset about the dog barking. It was the dog had no urinated in the house or whatever the situation was. And once he went back into the room, I did thought that the dog had no, he killed the dog. But when I had no talk to the I think I talked to animal service or Chris, somebody had no called me, and he did state that our dog had got electrocuted. The dog
Do you
was
wish to have contact with Mr. Reed?
Yes, that's my husband.
All right, and do you all right, do you have any fear or concern for Mr. Reed at this time?
No, he's the sole provider. He take care of his home, he take care of his kids, everything else. Like I talked to the witness advocate, and I was trying to see, can we get some kind of marriage counseling?
All right.
Because
thank you.
He's really not fault.
He's not what, I'm sorry?
I mean, like majority is not his fault. I'm at fault with some part of the incident or what occurred that day.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Harris. I appreciate that. Ms. Duncan, any closing remarks in a very limited capacity?
Yes, we just state that again, there's already a no contact order in place. That 19 SC 16666 open ag assault case has a no contact order with this victim.
All
And
right.
there's an additional open case against this same victim.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Duncan. At this time, Mr. Reed is going to receive a $5,000 surety bond. He is to have no contact with the alleged victim, last name Harris, and he must stay away from that address on Cleveland Avenue. He is to have no weapons, drugs, or alcohol as a condition of this bond. Because he did not have an attorney present, he will also be reset to the SEA calendar on tomorrow, whereby this will be revisited if he has not yet made bond. All right, is there anything further from Ms. Duncan? If not, best of luck to you, Mr. Reed. We can move to the next position.
Number 16, Mr. Sanders.
Okay, good afternoon, Mr. Sanders. Your case is 22 CR 002266C, in which you're charged with battery, family violence, hindering a person making a emergency call, and criminal trespass, family violence, each with offense dates of April the 14th. Do you understand your constitutional rights?
Yes, ma'am.
Can I conduct this hearing by video?
Yes, ma'am.
And can your attorney assist you by video?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you. Is this also a conflict case? Let me
No,
check.
Your Honor.
Oh, Ms. Kim, you represent him. Thankfully, I'm glad to see that. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Howard.
17 total. Last arrest was March 2020. Battery, physical harm, misdemeanor obstruction. Those were convictions. 2019 shoplifting conviction. 2016 probation violation for underlying was obstruction. I got 2014 first offender for ag assault.
Okay, I think I've got a good idea. Thank you. We'll go to Ms. Duncan.
Yes, Your Honor. I'd just like to say for the record that 2020 battery charge in case 20 CR 002419G is the same victim as in this case. After that case, there is a battery substantial physical harm conviction from 2021, but that is not the same victim. I'd also like to state for the court that it appeared from my research that this defendant is wanted. There's an outstanding agency warrant for failure to appear. There's a outstanding failure to appear warrant. And in this case, Your Honor, the events occurred yesterday, where officers were dispatched to the location of 10775 Howes Road in reference to a 911 call where a woman was screaming for help. There was also a male heard screaming in the background as well. Officers began conducting a premises check on the area once they arrived from where the call came in, and they began searching for the caller. They were not able to find the caller initially, and they looked up her name, and she was shown to reside at a different address from the incident where they responded to. But while en route to the specified address for the victim in this case, which is Miss Ashley White. Ashley is common spelling, White is common spelling. Officers were approached. They reached that location of 10775 Howes Road, and they approached a gentleman who is the defendant in this case, and they explained the situation to the defendant in this case, and they stated that he stated to them initially that there was nobody on site, and he didn't know who that they were talking about. While they continued to search, they weren't able to call her back after her calling 911. After continuing to search, eventually, Your Honor, Ms. White was located, and the defendant indicated to officers that she was in fact in the back seat of his vehicle. The victim in this case stated to officers that she was attempting to call 911 and that officers observed heavy bruising on her face, and she had a busted lip and bruising around her left eye. She said that they were sitting in the back of his vehicle, and without warning, he started attacking her. Also, while on the phone with the Roswell Police Department, the defendant in this case snatched a phone out of the victim's hand and smashed it on the floor, which is why the call abruptly ended to the Roswell Police Department. Officers did observe a visible crack in the victim's phone in this case. Your Honor, the hindering a 911 call does have a preset $2,000 surety bond. The other charges do not have a preset bond. Given the facts and circumstances, and given that the defendant does have a previous battery conviction against this same victim, as well as other violent history, the state is requesting a $6,000 total surety bond. That's $2,000 total surety per count. No further contact with the victim, in this case, Ashley White. If there are any children, we'd ask for a third-party transfer, a stay away from the incident location and wherever the victim in this case resides, and a 4-week anger awareness course, and no alcohol, drugs, and weapons.
All right, thank you. I'm going to sound for the victim, last name White. If Ms. White is present on the Zoom conference, this is her opportunity to speak. I do not believe I see a Ms. White. So we'll go to you, Ms. Kim.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Sanders is 62 years old. And he does not live with Miss Ashley White. They are friends, and according to Mr. Sanders, Miss Ashley White has a drinking problems. They are friends, and they don't have Mr. Ricky Sanders has been living here in Georgia for about 62 years, all his life, and he does not have that many families. However, he has friends. He is also retired, and he has been getting disability checks. He's got some issues with his right arm, back, and he has a hard time walking right now because of the pain. He completed 9th grade education. So I was actually requesting for social worker services on behalf of him to see if he could get behavioral health evaluation. Other than that, we would like to request for a signature bond, since he does not have any other means to pay for any kind of bond at this point. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. At this time, Mr. Sanders is going to receive a $4,000 surety bond broken down as follows: $2,000 for count 1, $1,000 for count 2, and $1,000 for count 3. He is to have no further contact with the victim and stay away from that incident location. He is to have no weapons, drugs, or alcohol as a condition of the bond. Are there any questions from either party?
No, Your Honor.
Nothing further.
All right, best of luck to you, sir. Who do we have next?
Number 17, Mr. Street.
Okay, is this also a conflict?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Street, as you've heard me explain, you have a right to an attorney at this proceeding, but no attorney is present to represent you. Would you like to represent yourself, or would you like me to automatically reset you to tomorrow, or in the hopes that a conflict attorney will be present at that time?
I'd like to represent myself.
Okay, if I do not feel that I can give you a signature bond today, I will reset you tomorrow, and hopefully a conflict attorney will be present at that time. Mr. Howard?
Second arrest. Last was on the 10th of this month in Monroe County. Window tint, suspended registration, and felony fleeing an officer. That's it.
Okay, and not recommended?
It's up to you. I probably skipped over that. I mean, the case is open, but this did happen beforehand, so.
I'm just curious. Okay, thank you. All right, Ms. Duncan?
Your Honor, in this case, on December 4th, 2021, officers were dispatched to 3041 Landrum Drive, apartment 23. Landrum is spelled Landrum, in reference to a physical dispute. They made contact with the victim in this case, Ms. Kenia Huntley. We have it spelled as Kynia. Huntley spelled Huntley. Upon making contact with the victim in this case, she stated to officers that she had had a verbal dispute with her boyfriend at the time, the defendant in this case. She said that he was upset after going through her phone and believing he had discovered she had been talking to another man. She said that he then choked her and struck her several times in her forehead area. The victim advised officers that once she yelled for help, the defendant fled in a silver sedan, but the model and make was unknown at that time. She suffered bruises to her neck, forehead, and arm as a result of this offense. And at that time, Your Honor, they had only been living together for about 3 days. The record did indicate that they did not have any children at the time of the report. Given the violent nature of the offenses alleged, we are requesting a $3,500 surety bond, no further contact with the victim. We were not able to make contact, so in concern for her safety, we'd like it to be a no contact. We're unsure of her current address, but we'd like to stay away from the incident location if that is still her address. If not, wherever she resides. One day anger awareness, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons.
All right, thank you. At this time, Mr. Street is going to receive a $5,000 signature bond through pretrial services per judge. He is to take that one-day anger awareness course. He is to have no further contact with the victim, last name Huntley, who I'm now sounding for. If Ms. Huntley is present, this is her opportunity to speak. All right, and he is to have no weapons, drugs, or alcohol as a condition of this bond. He must also stay away from the incident location or wherever Ms. Huntley resides. All right. I believe that will conclude your case. Best of luck to you, Mr. Street. Who do we have next?
Ms. Falk is on.
Oh, it's good to see you, Ms. Falk.
Hi, Your Honor. Good to see you as well. I just wanted to make a quick announcement. Charles Whitlock, that case is being null-prossed. I have on the phone with me right now investigator Haley Reich. She is from the Sandy Springs Police Department, and they are in the process of requesting a null-pross of that case, which I am sending over to Ms. Bridgewater now.
All right, and I will sign that as well. Thank you, Ms. Falk.
Thank you, Your Honor. May I be excused?
Yes, you may.
All right, thank you. Have a good day.
All right, bye-bye. All right, let's see. In light of the null pros, Ms. Falk, I should have asked her before she objects. Mr. Walker, Ms. Duncan, do you object to any amendment to the bond, to a signature bond in light of the null pros?
For Mr. Whitlock,
Yes.
we have no objection.
All right, in light of the null pros, I'm sorry, was someone speaking? Okay, in light of the null pros, in light of that null pros, Mr. Whitlock's bond will be converted to a signature bond through the jail.
Judge?
Yes.
We don't need a bond if the charge is being null pros. He'll be released on.
Oh, good. Oh, wonderful. Thank you. All right. That's good information. Thank you, Mr. Jordan. Who do we have next? We're at South Annex.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. How are you?
Good afternoon. It's good to see you. Who do we have first?
You have Miss James. I believe that's position 8. I'm not sure if it's 9 or 8.
Yes, 8. Please, all defendants, please pay attention to your
Come on,
constitutional
Ms.
rights. Ms. James, your case is 22 CR 002258F. All defendants, you have an absolute right to remain silent. Anything you say regarding the facts of your case can and will be used against you. You also have a right to an attorney at this particular proceeding. Do you understand those rights, Ms. James?
Yes.
And can I conduct this hearing by video today?
Yes.
And can your attorney assist you by video? Oh, I believe there's no attorney appointed for you today, so I'll have to explain that to you. Ms. James, you have a right to an attorney at this proceeding, but there is no attorney available to assist you because the public defender's office has a conflict. Do you wish to represent yourself? What I plan to do is, if you wish to represent yourself, I'll listen to your history and the state's recommendation. If I do not feel that I can give you a signature bond, I'll reset you to tomorrow's calendar as well. Or I can automatically just reset you to tomorrow. But my recommendation is that you allow me to set a bond today. What would you like to do?
I was asking of a signature bond today.
Okay, so you're asking to represent yourself,
Right,
correct?
that's correct.
Okay, that's all I need to hear. This is her first arrest, so we'll go straight to Ms. Webb.
Yes, Your Honor. In this particular case, the state is going to ask the court to honor the $2,500 surety bond that was preset. No further contact with a co-defendant, initials KA. I'm going to conceal her initials considering the facts of the case. Stay away from the incident location at 12655 Deerfield Parkway, Alpharetta, Georgia, and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. Your Honor, the defendant is alleged to have agreed to procure a prostitute for money or other valuable consideration. She is led to have agreed to transport Miss K.A., who is also being held on felony prostitution charges, and transported her to that incident location for that purpose of prostitution. There is evidence of text messages to affirm the same, Your Honor, that was recorded by that responding officer, albeit that this is the first offense considering the facts of the case, the very delicate facts of this case, Your Honor. The state is going to ask for the court to honor that $2,500 surety bond, Your Honor.
I understand, Ms. Webb, but at this time, I am going to give Ms. James a $5,000 signature bond through the jail. She is to have no further contact with KA. She must stay away from that incident location and have no weapons, drugs, or alcohol as a condition of this bond. Are there any questions or anything do you understand that, Ms. James?
Yes, I do.
All right, anything further, Ms. Webb?
Nothing further from the state, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Best of luck to you, Ms. James.
Thank
Who do we
you.
have next?
Next,
All
we
right.
have position 20, Miss Wilkerson.
Okay, good afternoon, Ms. Wilkerson.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
You are in the exact same position where there is no attorney available to assist you. If I do not feel that I can give you a signature bond, you will be so reset tomorrow as well. Your case is 22 CR 002269G. You're charged with battery with an offense date of January the 30th of 2022. I'm Judge Melanie Williams. Let's see, first arrest confirming, Mr. Howard.
Right.
All right, Ms. Duncan.
Yes, Your Honor. In this offense, the defendant is accused of causing harm to Monique VZ. Monique is common spelling. Last name is Veasey. The incident location is 396 Brownlee Road, apartment C6. In this incident, it is alleged that the defendant in this case punched the victim in the face with a closed fist during a fight between her boyfriend and the victim's boyfriend. The victim in this case had been living with the defendant and her boyfriend for about 3 months at this Brownlee Road address when these incidents occurred. So given the violent nature of these offenses, Your Honor, we are requesting a $3,000 surety bond, no further contact with the victim in this case, one day anger awareness, and no alcohol, drugs, and weapons.
All right, and confirming she was recommended, Mr. Howard.
Yes.
Thank you. All right, at this time, she's going to receive a $6,000 signature bond through pretrial services. She's to have no further contact with the victim, and she must stay away from that incident location. She is to have no weapons, drugs, or alcohol, and she must complete a one-day anger awareness. Is there anything further? Do you understand that, Ms. Wilkerson?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand? Is there anything further, Ms. Duncan?
Nothing further from the state.
All right, best of luck to you, Ms. Wilkerson.
Thank you. Have a good weekend. Your
All
Honor,
right.
okay, what did she get? I'm sorry, I did not hear it.
She got a signature bond, $6,000 through pretrial services.
And Miss James got,
Oh.
what level, is that a level 1?
There ain't no levels in this meeting.
Okay, thank you. And for Miss James, is that SOB through the jail?
Yes.
All right, thank you so much, and have a wonderful weekend, everybody.
You too, take care. I
Okay, bye-bye.
believe we have one position left that is a waived appearance on the calendar. Is that correct? Position 15?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Kim, will you please send that waiver over to Ms. Bridgewater for my review?
I already did, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Mr. Howard, can I have the history?
First arrest.
Oh, that's right. You did give me that information. We're not gonna sound the charge, and we're gonna do our best to speak generally about these facts. And if I feel that a breakout is necessary, we'll go into one. Ms. Duncan?
Your Honor, the crux of the facts may warrant a breakout room. I can't particularly say what happened unless I say what happened.
I understand. Can we go into a breakout room, please?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ali, let's go over the calendar while they're in the breakout.
I believe that's my choice, Mr. Howard.
I meant to say that when you went in the breakout. I'm sorry. I'll wait.
You all, you all can review the. Well, everybody who might need to hear it will probably be in breakout with me, unfortunately. But Mr. Howard, you can review it, Mr. Bridgewater, if you'd like, while we're in breakout.
Holly, I'm coming up there.
I was gonna
This
say
is
he
the
gotta
last
come
case.
upstairs.
Yeah, I'm coming up.
But I was gonna put Miss Holly in the breakout room with you.
What, Your Honor? I'm sorry to interrupt, but do we need a breakout room? I mean, I don't think there's any inmates.
Miss Duncan has. Oh, well, that's true.
Courtroom 2 is still on, but I don't know if anybody's still in
Courtroom
there.
2 is
Okay, I'm sorry.
Only because courtroom 2 is still
I'm
here.
sorry.
We don't know who might be standing
Correct.
there.
I thought everybody was gone. I'm sorry.
No, not quite. Not quite. Unless we can just excuse courtroom 2, I'm fine with that too.
Oh, Judge, I forgot to put you in the breakout room. Sorry.
Oh.
That might help out, huh?
All right, at this time, Mr. John Samir in case 22 CR 0022628 is going to receive a $2,500 surety bond. He is to undergo evaluations as discussed in breakout. He is to have no weapons, drugs, or alcohol as a condition of this bond. I believe we've addressed all of the cases on the calendar, including this case. Ms. Bridgewater, are you present? I don't see that Ms. Bridgewater has made it back. All right. I would attempt to review the calendar of my own, but I believe that that would be a horrible fail. So we're going to wait for Ms. Bridgewater's return. Does anyone have specific questions about any cases on the calendar? Perhaps I can answer those.
I do not, Your Honor. Wand again.
I do, Your Honor, for position number 9. Was it also a $2,000 signature bond?
Yes,
Okay.
it was.
With a no alcohol, drugs, or weapons in a stay away as conditions?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Or is there any other questions? Oh, there's there you are, Miss Bridgewater. No one had
Hey, I'm
any-
sorry, you were doing a great job.
I was. I thank you for that. I don't think there's any other questions, but
Okay,
please
did
do
you
it
all
for-
go over everything?
We did not go. No, ma'am. I was not able to do that. You know, we need you for that. But there was no specific question. So if you will very quickly review it for us, that would be
I will
ideal.
gladly do it. Now, that last one, you all have the bond amount, right? That position 15, a $2,500 good bond, and you're gonna send me that MH over, right? Okay, so here we go. Position number 1 is reset further notice with a $5,000 total SOB through pretrial. Position 2 is reset to the SAP calendar with a $2,000 good bond. Position 3, reset to the SAP calendar with a $3,500 total split bond. Position 4, reset to the SAP calendar with a $2,000 total good bond. Position 5 is reset to the SAP calendar with a $6,000 good bond. Position, is that 6 or 3,000? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. What position? I apologize. Ms.
Position
Bridgewater.
number 5, was that 3,000 or was that 6,000?
For position 5, I have 3,000 sure.
I have 3,000 surety.
Okay, very good. Okay, for position number 6, it's going to be a $2,000 total SOB through the jail. Position 7 is going to be reset to the SAP calendar with a $1,500 total good bond. Position 8, reset further notice with $5,000 SOB through the jail. Position 9, reset further notice with a total $2,000 SOB through the jail. Position 10, reset further notice with a $3,500 SOB through the jail. Position 11 is reset further notice with a $4,500 SOB through pretrial. Position 12 is reset further notice with a $2,000 SOB through the jail. Position 13 is a $1,000 good bond and it's being reset SAP. Position 14 is reset till tomorrow. However, they have a $5,000 good bond. Position 15 is that $2,500 that you all just had to break out on, and that's going to the SAP calendar. Position 16 is reset to the SAP calendar with a $4,000 total good bond. Position 17, reset further notice with a $5,000 SOB through pretrial per judge. Position 18 is reset to the SAP calendar with a $2,000 good bond. Position 19 was null pros, and position 20 is reset further notice with a $6,000 SOB through pretrial. Are there any corrections, comments, or otherwise?
No. What is the reset
Everybody
date?
have a happy Easter.
Ms. Bridgewater, what is the reset date for SAP?
I'm not
SAP
sure I
is,
said that. Yes, please tell us, Ms. Bridgewater.
it's gonna be April the 28th.
All right. Everyone have
Now,
a
did you
great-
all get that about have a happy Easter?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
have a happy Easter.
Enjoy your
you.
Good
Okay.
Friday.
weekend.
Happy Easter to everyone. Hope you have a
Bye.
A lot of fun.
Okay, and Judge, I'm
Friday.
getting ready to send that information to you.
Okay,
Okay, and Judge, I'm getting ready to send that information to you.
Wonderful. I'll sign those on the way to get my Easter baskets. Everyone take care. Have a good one.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, Mike. Who, me? Oh, yes. Oh, old school woman. You know that every Sunday, yes. My house is every Sunday.